So it's that time of year where we're all trying to save money, pay debt off, maybe get some of our investments going. And we need some ways, some things to put in place to where we make sure those things happen, right? And so these are some of the ways that I've come up with to help do all of those things. That's helped us do all of those kinds of things. And some of them I just started implementing. So, all right. So the first one is saying no to free stuff. What I mean is the samples that, everybody gives you whenever you go to the store. Maybe your aunt or whatever wants you to take this little table that she has. You don't want it, but you're thinking, I want to take it because it'll make her feel good. And then you take it into your house and you realize that you have to buy $100 worth of stuff to make this okay having in your living room. Just say no. No, I don't want it. Thank you, but no. Thank you, but no. That's what we're going to say to all of the free stuff that we don't need. Because a lot of times what happens is this free stuff, we wind up having to buy something like all the free samples, right? Or, the shampoo or whatever at the hotel that you bring because you think you're going to use it one of these days. You wind up getting a little bin at the dollar store to keep them all. Just don't. No. Just don't. Unless it's something that you're going to use and you don't have to put any investment into this. Okay. Next one is being careful who you spend your time with. This is a big one because if your best friend or, even your mom, your sister, your whoever it happens to be, your kids, your grown kids, if every time you're around them revolves around spending money, I'm not saying to not be around them. What I am saying is to either lessen it or maybe come up with it. If your thing is going shopping and getting lunch and you really want to spend time with this person, instead of maybe going shopping and getting lunch, maybe you could make lunch and play a game or play cards or just have coffee and visit, just do something that doesn't involve money. Now, sometimes the issue is sometimes we don't have the friendship that we thought we had. We don't have that camaraderie because it's all built around, shopping or whatever. Alcoholics have this problem as well. When they quit drinking, right? They realize, they didn't actually have as many friends as they thought. They were drinking buddies. Well, this is the same scenario. They're shopping buddies. So just evaluating that, if that's what they do, then at least for this particular time while we're trying to hit some goals, we're not going to be hanging out with them as much as we normally would have. Okay. The next one is being careful who you are giving your attention to, where your attention is going. And with that, I mean social media, right? Or what you're watching on TV. So if your goal, say, is to stop buying stuff for your house, right? You already have enough tchotchkes, you have enough pillows, you have enough blankets. It looks great, just leave it alone. Probably what you need to do is get rid of some of that stuff. To make it look even better. That seems to be kind of the thing. But anyway, if that's your goal and you have decided you're not buying any more housewares, right? You're not buying any more stuff for the house. But yet what you're watching is decorating shows and all of the shows that show you how to do all these DIYs and all of that kind of stuff. You may need to transfer your attention to something else that is less triggering for you, right? So instead of watching those, and let's say you're really into all of that kind of stuff, maybe turn it to, some sort of a channel that talks about, vintage homemaking or something to that effect, where you're seeing, all the trends from like the 50s and the 60s and, that kind of thing. Or, I don't know. I'm just throwing out examples here. But just being careful what you're watching, what you're putting into your mind, because what goes into our mind is what predicts what our habits are. And our habits predict what our actions are. Anyway, this whole thing. Just be careful with it. You know, if you're trying to eat healthy, then watching somebody make a whole bunch of snacks and all of that stuff with 2 sticks of butter and a half a gallon, a half and half, all of this kind of stuff might not be where to put your attention. Okay, the next one is to wait to make a purchase. So with that, I mean, this is a good example. So I mostly make purchases on Fridays. That's the day I do my banking, I pay bills, I make any purchases. All of the money stuff happens on one day. So for the most part. So if I want something, and it's say Monday morning, I am going to wait until Friday to purchase that thing, right? So that's what I mean by waiting. The longer we can wait, chances are we might decide that we don't even need the thing. So, and that happens to me quite often. And if you do still need it at the end of the week or whenever your day is that you've decided you're going to do this, then by all means get it. But chances are it'll really slow down our purchases. And the next one is, how can I do this? Instead of I can't do this, let's change the conversation to how can I? So, for example, we just had a contractor come out the other day and give us, well, he's making up a bid for, we want to have some insulation, like the spray foam insulation, because we live in a pretty old house and a lot of it is not, the insulation is awful or it just doesn't exist. So, I guess the bid is about $10,000. And so what my husband and I were talking about is, instead of we can't do this year, maybe what we do, and we're thinking about this is probably what we'll wind up doing, is just having them do half of it or certain sections of wall and doing it piece by piece rather than we can't do it at all or waiting for 3 years until, you know, we can do the whole thing at one time. Finding a way that you can do something rather than just automatically assuming, oh, I can't. You still might be able to do it to get the thing. Maybe just try it in a different way, like if it's something you need, or even if it's something you want, and you waited your time or whatever, but it's still a little more spendy than you would like. Say you like designer jackets. Maybe you don't buy that thing brand new. Maybe what you do is you go to, say, Mercari or ThreadUp or something like that. Look for it in, on there, or maybe thrift stores. You can still do the thing. You just have to get a little more creative about how to do it, because then you're still getting the thing, but you're not paying top dollar for it, Anyway. So there's that one. The next one is avoiding debt. And I know you knew I was going to say this one. Okay. Avoiding debt is really hard because our entire financial system is set up around it, right? And my goal for this year, for one, we're getting out of debt right now. But for two, I am trying to teach myself how to hate it, how to hate debt, to where when the option comes up, that is never my first go-to. Absolutely never. And it would be the absolute last resort before whatever, worst case scenario, right? So that's what I'm working on. I'm making myself hate it. I don't like debt anyway, but I kind of deluded myself into thinking, well, I don't pay interest, so it's fine. No, it's still not, because it's still debt. And okay, so we had 2020, and that was just the absolute crazy mess of a show that it was, right? And so that showed me that anybody's job can be, boom, gone like that. And on top of that, just this year, I had to quit my job because of health reasons. So now we're down to one income. So we've halved our income, right? So I'm trying to make it to where I hate it. Like that is, nope, not even with 0 interest. Okay, next one. Getting rid, this is a weird one, I know. I never hear people talk about this, but this is a weird one. Or this is an important one. Getting rid of your storage unit. Are you one of those people that have a storage unit? Okay, my husband had a storage unit for like 7 years that he never went to, never opened it. We were paying $125 a month. And then finally convinced him to get rid of this storage unit. $125 a month, you guys. That's a lot of money over 6 or 7 years. And what he said was, the reason he was keeping it is because it had so many like tools, things in it that he had gotten for good, good price. And there was just things in it he wanted to keep because in order to replace them, it'd be, thousands of dollars. And so I did the math and I told him, look, this has been thousands of dollars. Anyway, after this whole scenario, we decided to get rid of the storage unit. So we no longer had it. That was when we were paying off all of our debt the first time, which helped with bringing margin into our budget, right? Okay, next one is to kind of see things you buy as, so I heard Rachel Cruz say, it's a good way to kind of think about what you're buying. And she says that what she does is she tries to remind herself, if nobody is ever going to see this thing, would I still want it? Like, do I love this thing enough, just myself, in order to buy it if nobody would see it? Do I love it that much? I think that's a great idea, considering we have so much of keeping up with the Joneses and FOMO, the fear of missing out and all of that. Okay. And then the next one is creating a wants list. So when you see something that you're like, oh, whether it's on social media or whatever, or somebody tells you about something, and you're, instead of going to Amazon and just ordering it, putting it on a wants list. That was a huge thing the first time we got out of debt. I say the first time. So now I'm trying to make sure I stay out of it. But okay. So putting it down on a wants list, and because it's not in your budget this time, right? Because you just did it for the month and that wasn't part of it. It's now the 15th of the month. Okay. So what I do is I put it down. If at the end of the month, I still want the thing, then I'll put it into next month's budget. But it's not in there right now, so I'm not going to get it. Anyway, that's kind of the gist of it. So if any of these resonated with you, or if you thought, wow, that actually makes a lot of sense, please share this video with somebody else who maybe is trying to just get on this kind of a journey. So I will see you in the next video. Give this video a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you in the next one. All right, bye.